morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on this Friday. Yeah, we made it through another week. I hope all of you have a great weekend. Get out there. I know my wife and I are trying to wrap up some Christmas shopping and get that over. I will say this. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be because of Amazon. You know, I won't lie about it. It is a whole lot more convenient than battling out in the parking lots of the world out there. But the retailers are wishing those parking lots had more people in it. We got a great show lined up for you today. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. We're going to talk jobs. We got the government jobs number. We got consumer expectation numbers. We've got some, hey, I'm going to help you with some tax stuff today. Yeah. Because, why not? We're coming up on the end of the year tax planning things. I'm going to give you some things that I don't know if, that you can't write off. Things that you can't write off. That'll be coming up a little later in the program. Don't forget, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Rumble, like us, the thumbs ups, the sharing, all that stuff you got to do out there. We appreciate everybody and all that you do. Obviously, you have a choice who you listen to, and we appreciate it when you choose us. And we try to do our best to inform you and educate you so you can make better decisions when it comes to, let's face it, the hard-earned money we're all trying to make out there. But let's start, Jason. I guess we'll probably need to start with the jobs number. It came in pretty much as expected. 199,000 jobs. Now, you'll be like, well, that's a little higher than the previous month. Yeah, last month was 150. 47,000 of the 199 were the returning strikers, the union strikers, and also, I guess, the writers were on strike in California. So, really, about the same from last month. Some people called it Goldilocks, right? Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. We did have a drop in the unemployment rate. That was and every time, I never know what they're going to decide is important. Is it the number itself? Is it the labor force participation rate? Is it the unemployment rate? Well, today, Jason, apparently it was the unemployment rate because it fell to 3.7 from 3.9. They wanted it to be higher, right? You got to remember, the Fed is cheerleading for people to get fired. Now, the problem really is with that also was because the striking workers came back. So not only did they get added to the jobs, they also fell off unemployment. So it's but anyway, nonetheless, that was perceived as, I guess, a negative, right? That maybe the Fed isn't going to cut rates as fast as they said. But then I think some smarter people entered the room and actually read the report and went, oh, okay, so I get it now. So really the jobs number wasn't that hot. The unemployment rate really wasn't that good. But that was enough. Listen, gold and silver are down right now. Buy it all up. That's all I'm going to tell you. Buy it all up. Keep buying those dips. But again, this is another one of those numbers that really has been in line with a lot of the other numbers. Slower, but not slow enough. And again, I guess Goldilocks, right? I guess this number was just about right. Yeah, I don't have
benefits.
Oh, there you are. There you go.
All right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that striking counted as unemployment. That's like how does that work? With unemployment down, to me that means probably that the economy is weakening. There's probably more people that need more jobs to cover all the things they can't afford, Joe. So I guess if you want to look at it that way, the lower unemployment might be desperation to pay the bills.
Well, yeah, you got to remember now. So unemployment comes from that household survey, but more people said they were working again, and I guess apparently enough of them were the strikers from the UAW and or what was going on in Hollywood, the writers' strike, was enough to move.
Does that affect the actual number, though, Joe? Does that affect the actual number, though, is what I'm getting at, I guess?
Well, listen. Every number they make, they don't use actual numbers, so I guess, I don't know. I mean, I would love to know this secret seasoning sauce. I mean, can we really, can we say enough? Can't we say enough and say, we've got computers. Like, listen, there was a reason for the seasonality stuff before computers. Because you took data from like the first week of the month. Right, because you're doing it all by pencil and calculators and whatnot, and you had to guess, right? You're kind of guessing, and of course, way back in the day, way back in ancient times, right? We had a lot more agriculture was a lot more dependent on the economy, and so obviously, hey, when it's not planting or harvesting time, right? Less people would be working, and they came up with this nonsense. And this is why, here's the problem with having academics instead of actual people that know how to produce things being in charge. They're like, well, we just want it to be evened out. We don't like the fact that, well, sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. Well, that's just how it works. Yeah, well, now, who knows what it is? I don't know. They don't tell me. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're going to be right back after the break. Eight 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on this Friday, wrapping up the week. Let's take a quick look in. The Dow is up right now, up 40. Not a lot, but up 40. The S&P's up a few dollars. The Nasdaq's up 26. The 10-year note higher on this unemployment decline, 4.25. Oil higher. Now, of course, oil got bashed over the head. I don't know. Maybe it's because Venezuela may invade Guyana. I don't know. But up almost $2. Gold's down $23 right now. 2005. Silver's down 50 cents. $23.20. The dollar is rallying, of course, off the lows of last year. But if you're thinking about, you know what, hey, I need to lighten my load on the debt markets that are Wall Street. I need to diversify. Where can I go and get good rates of return? Rates of return that I can be happy with. You got to check out why refi. They're not correlated to the stock market at all. They don't care about the Fed. And guess what? They already had a great program. They've made it better. You still get 10.25% returns if you go for 5 years. But what they did is they took years 1, 2, 3, and 4 and gave you more interest. They added a quarter of a point more to those years. If you invest with YRefi today for 1 year, you're going to get 6.5%. You heard me right. 6.5%. But wait, there's more. Sometimes it happens, right? Yeah, I want that 10.25. I'm going to go for 5 years, and something happens, right? And you're like, man, I got to get my money back. They already would return all of your principal, all of it. But now they've said, you know what? We want to do even better. We're going to figure out a way you're going to be able to keep some of that interest that you earned on top of the principal. And if you're doing 5 years and you're down the road, you know, you're year 4 into it and you had to have their money back, they're going to do it right. They're going to do it right. Now, obviously, there's some limitations. You got to have $50,000. That's the minimum. You got to have at least $50,000. You can use existing IRAs. You got an account in E-Trade, a Schwab account. You can use that one. Money sitting in your bank account. Some of you can use a 401k. I'm just saying. Don't have it all. Just like Jason and I always tell you, don't put all your money into gold and silver. Some people do. I don't advise it, right? Be diversified. Don't have all your money in housing. Don't have all your money in the stock market. Check these guys out. I mean, it's really worth the look here. InvestYRefi.com or just call them at 888-YREFI24. Now, I want to really quickly, before we I'm going to give you some tax advice as promised. Now, by the way, I am not a tax advisor. I'm not a CPA, but I'm going to give you some anyway because I'm pretty sure these are going to make sense for you. But before we do that, the reason why everybody was talking about they wanted the unemployment rate to be 4%. Apparently, again, this is why you can never have the guys that are textbook guys in charge. There was a thing called Psalms rule. And all as it was one of these indicators, somebody at some point said, hey, if the unemployment rate rises by 0.5% in 90 days, in 3 months, if the unemployment rate rises by 0.5% in 3 months. So 3 months ago, the unemployment rate was 3.5. We came in at 3.9. If we would have got to 4, this rule would have kicked off, which some people say is a leading indicator that a recession has started. So without Psalms rule today, Jason, this was okay. Well, the recession hasn't started. So I guess if you want to know why gold's down today, blame it on Psalm. It's his fault. So I've never heard that before. But again, this is why people listen. I'm giving you some education as to why it was. There you go, Jason. Another one of these made-up indices that I guess didn't happen today.
Yeah, I think I've heard similar things. I heard unemployment at 5% means just everything's getting ready to go really bad or is really bad.
Yeah, 5%. Yeah, that's when you get above 5, you worry. They say full employment. They used to say full employment was 4%. Because they said 3% of people are just changing jobs. They're going to be employed here really quick again. But hey, don't worry. We'll just forget that. We'll throw that in the garbage and we'll create something else. But yeah, so Psalms rule, if that had happened, my guess is gold would be up 20. And the Dow would probably be up 200 or 300 points, right? Yeah, that's just one of those weird things, right? Oh, wait, unemployment rates are, yes, yeah, great news. No, it's not. But moving on, Hunter Biden. Yeah, well, apparently, Jason, he's being indicted again. And like all good criminals, this is like the mob, right? How did they get all the mob? They didn't get them for murder and extortion, right? They always got them for evading taxes, right, Jason? That was always what they'd end up getting them for. Apparently, somebody took issue. Now, why did it take this long? I don't know. But some of his write-offs were very much in question. So when you're getting ready, I know a lot of you are ahead of the game and you like to get your tax preparation done before the end of the year. Apparently, things that you cannot write off, ATM withdrawals. Yeah, that's not a write-off, but apparently Hunter Biden thought it was. $686,212 in payments to various women. Now, I'll let you decide what type of women they are. $189,960. Kind of weird on these totals. Right? $189,960. Right? Not 190,000, but I guess maybe at 190. That may have been a red flag on, quote, adult entertainment. Yeah, that does not work. Under office expenses, things you cannot, you small business owners like me, like Jason. Okay, there's certain things apparently you're not allowed to write off as an office expense. $1,500 Venmo payments to exotic dancers, that is not allowed. Okay, that is definitely not an office expense. $11,500 paid to an escort for 2 nights. Yep. Again, I don't know. Was it in the office? I'm just trying to figure out how he got that into the office expense write-offs. $30,000 for his daughter's law school tuition. That seems kind of cheap, doesn't it? Maybe she's not at Harvard or Yale or I don't know. And then again, who knows? Maybe he was splitting. Maybe he only had to pay half. $1,248 to fly an erotic dancer from L.A. to New York. These are all things, guys, that you cannot claim as an office expense on your taxes. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Jason.
And it makes you wonder that the timing of it all. Why now? I mean, obviously, later next year would have been better, I guess, for Republican voters or Republican-sided people. But I don't know why. It just kind of came in my head. Didn't he visit the White House? A month or two ago, and they had the cocaine in the locker. Remember that? And it just makes me wonder if he went to the White House to say, "Hey, Dad, can I have some money?" And Dad said, "No, I'm not going to give you any money." So he went over to the IRS, like, "Hey, IRS, here's all these crooked things I did. Go ahead and indict me, and I'm sure Dad's going to have to bail me out." I don't know, Joe. That just popped into my head. He's sticking it to the big guy to get some more money. Maybe funds are low. I don't know. That's the only thing that came to my mind.
I'm going to show you, Dad. Right? Trying to get rid of me. Well, you know what? Maybe
you're trying to get elected, dude. You're trying to get elected. And I'm going to make that a little harder unless you pony up.
I've been critical of the IRS and all the hiring they've done. Maybe this was what it took. Right? We needed. They just didn't have time to look yet. But now that they've got all these agents, now they've got more time to look at things like this.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's good. It's good that you brought it up. Things that you shouldn't. Be careful what you write off, and I think it's very humorous. And but it's always about the timing, isn't it, Joe? It's like, why in December 2023? Why couldn't it have been June of 2024? Why wasn't it 6 months ago? But here it is right now. And, like you said, the IRS hired all these people. Well, I get the feeling the IRS already knew all this stuff like a year ago or even multiple years ago. I mean, how long has he been writing this stuff off, right, Joe?
Right.
He's got a lot of
don't
counts.
know. You know what? I didn't care enough to look at. I don't even know what tax year this is from, right?
I think he got 9 counts. 9 counts. Could that be 9 straight years or whatever? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't. Yeah. Again, I'm not a tax guy. I have no idea, and I didn't really care that. I just thought, wow, I think our listeners would need to know that just in case you wanted to write that kind of stuff off. Yeah.
Well, if you're doing certain things in life, you probably should just keep that under your hat. Hunter Biden was taking YouTube videos, though, wasn't he? So I don't know if he was really trying to hide his. I think he was bragging. He was bragging, right? He enjoyed himself. He enjoyed himself.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree is one of those things that came to mind. How about this? We talked about the overwhelming Arizona. Now we're just being flooded with illegals. They call it the Tucson sector, but that's really Arizona, really. In whole, they've shut the border in Lukeville. For people that don't know, in Arizona, that's how you get to Rocky Point. Believe it or not, you go to Rocky Point. It's awesome. I've been there. We love going. It's like a 4-hour drive. You're in the Sea of Cortez, and you got all the great amenities. It's in the middle of nowhere, the border crossing there. But listen to this. When illegals cross the border in Arizona, now I don't know if this is happening in Texas and in New Mexico and California. I'm going to assume that it is. But when they cross in Arizona. Here's what you get. Well, this is gonna make some people really mad. A $5,000 Goodish Cash gift card. So it's like a Visa gift card. You know, you go to the store, you're like, oh my gosh, what should I get for that niece or nephew that you never see, that lives halfway across the country? They're a teenager and it's Christmas time. I mean, you know what? Let me just get them a gift card. Right, I'll give them a $200 gift card, or maybe you feel really guilty. Give them a $500 gift card. They can buy what they want. No, $5,000 gift card. Now, could you imagine what a record? I mean, you bring you, your wife, maybe your kid. Dude, you get 15 grand, right? Does the baby count? Like, if you carry a baby, does the baby get the $5 grand too? It kind of appears that way. But not only do they get this $5,000 gift card, they get cell phones, right? Which we kind of knew, right? That's kind of the thing. Here you know, this is like going on The Price is Right? You know, this is probably what they're thinking, right? You're in the showcase showdown. Oh, and we'll give you a plane ticket to wherever you want to go. Come on down. Arizona's open, baby. 800-951-0592. Jason and I will be right back. 800-951-0592. Thank you to Sheriff Lamb, who provided the intel there. You know, we knew about plane tickets and cell phones, but yeah, $5,000 Visa gift card. Speaking of gifts, here's a gift today. We're going to run Indians, $5 and $10 Indians. This is going to be, you know, a Christmas special here. $5 Indians. Let's start there. $5 Indians, 1 through 9. $590. So anything below $600 on a $5 Indian is awesome. Right? Great deal. 10 or more, $585. That puts it at the same price as a $5 Liberty. So we did that once before earlier this year. We got to the same price. This is a heck of a deal. The $5, now this is my personal opinion. The $5 Indian is the best coin America ever minted. It is a coin that I don't think we could mint today because it'd be racist, because it's the male Indian chief with the full male headdress on the back of it. It's the eagle on the perch. I don't think he's in blackface. He's in goldface. So I'm sure that's offensive to somebody. I don't know who, but somebody's going to be offended by the gold-faced Indian.
But Jack, or Joe, you know, it's interesting because the U.S. Mint actually does mint that coin today. It's the 1 ounce gold buffalo. They have the Indian on it, so they actually do have an Indian coin.
But I don't think he has the headdress on, does he? I think it's just the...
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen... Yes, he doesn't have a headdress on.
You could be right, though. You could be right. But yes, so the $5 Indian, 1 through 9, it's $590. That's only $5 more than a Liberty. I mean, when gold runs, Indian premiums, the $5 Indian... You can be $100 more than a $5 Liberty, but you buy 10 or more, same price at $585. The $10 Indian. Now, the $10 Indian is the Lady Liberty wearing an Indian headdress. So that would definitely be racist, right? Because that is not an Indian with feathers on. This would be a gold woman with feathers on. $1,140. So that's $10 more than a $10 lib. But if you buy 10 or more, $1,130. So the same price. You buy 10 or more of each of these, and you'll buy Indians for the same price as Liberties. You guys know the story, right? When the plague came out, the Indian, the $5 Indian, actually they carved into the coin. They called it an infused design. And they thought it carried the plague. So nobody wanted Indians in 1917, 1918. They actually stopped minting them. And so, think about the St. Gaudens. The Indians are the fractional coins for the Saints. 1908 to 1933, the Indians, after 1916, they only minted them a couple more years. Like 1927, 1932. I mean, just very low mintage. That's why they usually always cost more. There's so few of them out there. But the $5 Indian, 590, 10 or more, 585. The $10 Indian, 1140, 10 or more, 1130 at 800-951-0592. So just think about this. If you and your significant other cross the border today, for all of you tuning in down in Lukeville, getting ready to cross, because I know they're listening, you can take the Visa gift cards you get, call Patriot, and you put some of these Indians on the taxpayer dime. What a great deal.
Do you think there's going to be a day where we have to say indigenous people coins? Are we going to be forced to do that? I'm looking. You're right. The modern Buffalo 1 ounce gold coin that the Mint, the U.S. Mint makes. Yeah, it's 2 feathers in the hair. So I guess you're right. It's racist if you have a headdress, but not if you have 2 feathers in the hair.
I get right. Yeah, I guess there's a line there. I don't know where the line is.
I guess there's a line. But you know what? Yeah, these are great coins. These are, I love Indian coins. I love all the pre-33 gold. I like all gold coins in some late fashion or another. But we specialize in pre-33 gold. We really urge our customers to buy into these coins, number one priority, because there's just a lot of, and Joe's hit it many times. Every week he'll tell you why pre-33 gold is private and why it's important to buy these coins. And these are a little pricier, these Indian coins. It's not because they're any better or worse. It's just that in 1907 they switched to the new designs, the St. Gaudens for the 20 and then the Indians for the smaller ones, and they only made them for like 25 years, and that's for the years that they actually minted them. So there's just a lot more $20 Liberties, $10 Liberties floating around out there because there were just a lot more years that they minted them. So if you can get one of these anywhere close to the Liberty designs, it's kind of a bonus. You're getting the same gold, and it's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. 800-951-0592. I'm wondering if you just keep going back and forth. I can't get off this $5,000 thing. Listen, I honestly, think about we broke a record for the amount of illegals entering the country per day. Can you imagine, and again, I don't know if it's everywhere or just here, but I'm going to imagine it's everywhere. 1,200 people a day, and that's $60 million in gift cards. Yeah, I can't figure out why everything at the grocery store is so damn expensive. I think I just found out. And again, if I was me, I'd get a cross, get a gift card, get a phone, right? And then black market the thing. Hey guys, I'll tell you what. I'll give you this $5,000 gift card and this cell phone. You give me $3,500, because then I'm going to go back across the border. Do they keep a record? Right? Or I come back across and yesterday I was Juan Jimenez. Today I'm Pancho Suarez. Right? Just keep piling it on.
Yeah, you would think some of those cards would send some people back over the border, back into Mexico to buy cheaper stuff. You would think, right? Before coming back, it's
bail it back home, right?
Yeah, maybe you can collect a few of these things every couple of days. This is a new job, I guess, right? This is a new source of income. You do one of those a week. That's $20,000 a month. That's how many people are doing that?
Once a month. Once a month, you're making $60,000.
Right, and it's not racist, but if I was giving out the cards and it was a bunch of white people crossing over the border, I wouldn't know which guy was which handing these things out. After a while, all those people become a blur. So, man, there's quite an income down there, man. I need to go cross the border a few times.
No wonder why so many are coming. We just figured it out. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. Eight 800-951-0592, the Indian special, $5 and $10 Indians. 1 through 9, $590 on a $5 Liberty. That's only $5 more than a gold Eagle or a gold Liberty. If you buy 10 or more, same price. It's incredible. 10 or more, $585. $10 Indians. They're $1,140. That's $10 more than a $10 Lib. It's even more rare for a $10 Indian to be anywhere near a $10 Liberty. The $5 Indian, it happens once in a while. Very rarely on the $10 market. And today, 1 through 9, $1,140. That's $10 more. But if you can buy 10 or more, so go to the border, sneak across a couple times, throw in a few extra bucks, sell the cell phones and the plane tickets, and you can get 10 of the $10 Indians at $1,130 when you buy 10 or more. At 800-951-0592. And it's interesting. So they want a Ukraine deal done. Right? They want all this spending. Biden's thrown out. Well, we'll do stuff on the border. I got a good way to save some money. Because now, again, I don't know if this is happening everywhere, but I would imagine that it is. That would just make sense that it's happening at all these border crossings. If that was the case every single day, that'd be like almost $22 billion. So, Jason, I think I know how to save $22 billion, right? You know, I know that's not a lot, but hey, stop handing out $5,000, and I think less people would come.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you've incentivized crossing the border. Not only are you not disincentivizing, you're incentivizing. I mean, and this has been going on for decades, you know, maybe not complete decades, but definitely the last 20 years. It's just been happening where there's just so much here for people that are in less fortunate situations across the border. And so if you're going to give them a cell phone and give them $5,000 a head start, I mean, I'm sure there's reasons why it's actually a good thing to take jobs that need to be filled. But I mean, we have laws, and for better or for worse, you probably should follow the laws.
Yeah, but
first.
what does that say? What does that say to the person that's busting their ass?
I know.
Working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and getting $15 an hour. And somebody comes in illegally in the country, not only do they get $5,000, they get almost 2 months worth of pay for the person busting their hump, plus a cell phone, plus a plane ticket.
It tells them to quit their job and to sit there and wait for government checks to come in. That's what it tells them.
Right. Gee, I can't understand why we've got such a problem. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I can't figure it out. The idiots are running the place. Can't we agree on that? I mean, this is why people buy gold.
When things are broken financially in your country, these are the symptoms. This is the runny nose before you get the flu, right, Joe? This is the sore throat, right? It's a symptom. It's telling us where it's headed. This is why when you see the symptoms from going on around you, you protect yourself. You take care of yourself, because it's really nice and good, especially in the Christmas season, to help others. But if you can't help yourself, if you're a drag to somebody else, then the first thing you got to do is get yourself in a secure position. The gold and silver is the best way to put things into savings until you find that fantastic investment. If you find a fantastic investment, you know, we do Y refi, but there's more out there. You bring in $10,000 in gold and sell it to us. You go out there, make your investment, and we have a great partnership. This is the way it works. You know, when people sell gold to us, they feel so bad. I always try to get that guilt out of them. They shouldn't. It's because you
know what? They feel bad because they don't want to sell it. Right? They don't. Right? They really truly don't, and I don't blame them.
Everyone wants a pile like Scrooge. Everyone, just like you're coming to Christmas again, everyone wants that pile of coins like Scrooge, but then they want to be the Scrooge at the end of A Christmas Carol, right? Everyone wants that, right?
That's right. Speaking of, yesterday or the other day we were talking about the reverse repo facility. Every week, the Fed releases all kinds of stuff. How much money's in the reverse repo? Huge drop, right? And we told you that already. They also tell us how much money left banks into money markets. It just won't stop. Right? That gets it out of the deposits of the bank. Here's something they also tell and we've been saying it. Every week it's a new record that these banks keep borrowing that's supposed to end here like in 5 months. It's been going up 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, stuff like that. Because when it first started, after Silicon Valley went under and all that, it was like $100 billion. Last week, isn't this interesting? Right? Interest rates came crashing down. Reverse repo facility money's going out like a sieve. In the Fed's bank term funding program shot up by almost $8 billion to now $122 billion. But $8 billion in a single week. Jason, this thing was only going up a couple $100 million. And then, bam, $8 billion. I think this is twofold. Number one, a lot of banks now are getting to that point where, my deposits are too low. They keep leaving. The economy's slowing down. People got less money in there. I ran out of money at the reverse repo facility. I don't have any extra. And all of a sudden, they got to borrow big from the Fed just to stay in business. But don't worry. Everything's okay. I'm sure they're going to cross the border illegally and get $5,000 gift cards. That'll fix it. We'll be back. $800-951-0592. Joe and Jason wrapping up this Friday. The Indian special, $5 and $10 Indians. Heating them up red hot today. $5 Indians, 1 through 9, $5.90. 10 or more, $5.85. That's the same price of $5 Liberty Day, $585. $10.
Good through the weekend, Joe. So
good through the weekend. So I've got them on sale online as well. Good through the weekend. Thank you for saying that, though, Jason. AllAmericanGold.com. Hit the shopping cart button. The $10 Indian, 1 through 9, $11.40. 10 or more, $11.30. By the way, that's the same price as a $10 Liberty, $1,130. At 800-951-0592. I wonder what Chevron's going to do. Chevron, they're the oil company in Venezuela. Remember, I think it was Hugo Chavez kicked them out, and then we had sanctions, and now apparently we lightened up on the sanctions. They're back in there. You know that Chevron's been in Venezuela since 1923. Kind of crazy. How long, I did not know that, how long they've been around and how long we've known Venezuela's had oil. And of course now in Venezuela they had a vote. They believe that they own a big chunk of Guyana. By the way, this was a case, for people that know, this has been disputed since the end of colonialism, essentially. I want to say it was 1899, maybe 1889, something like that, where they had I guess, I don't know where they went at the time, but they came up with a border that Venezuela disputed, and now they found oil in the disputed area, and now Venezuela, they went to the polls last week and said, you know what, that's our land, so who knows, but again, isn't it interesting, right, the timing of all this? Yeah. By the way, I did get someone who's smarter than me, because of these charges on Hunter Biden, when he's supposed to testify in front of Congress. Well, now that he's under charges, I guess now that'll give him cover, right? So he'll be allowed to say, well, I can't comment because there's, pending litigation. So maybe this wasn't so, right?
Yeah, and so then here comes some money after he doesn't have to testify, and then the money comes in and just, it's taxes. If you could pay the taxes, then the charges, a lot of times you won't just go to prison for tax evasion if you can just pay the taxes. I'm sure there'll be a deal cut after he doesn't have to testify. It's beautiful. It's got to be great to be president's son.
Right. Of course, there's always a hook. I should have known better. And you know what was funny? It was in California where he got indicted for these. Now it all makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. He should be able to iron out these problems just in time to not have to testify. From what you just said,
yes.
There's always a motive, right? There's always a motive.
Yes, I would love to tell you the answer, but I got this trial and no comment.
Fifth Amendment. Suddenly, the Fifth Amendment. Suddenly, the Fifth Amendment becomes important again to Hunter Biden. So, well. There you go, Joe. It's great. In the middle of one show, you're able to report it and then justify why it's happening.
That's right. Listen, God bless everybody, right? 800-951-0592 or allamericangold.com. Jason and I were coming right back with the half-empty cup. We're going to have Glenn Tate from Prepping 2.0 and wanting to talk about Donald Trump and the dictator. All of that coming up next. We'll be right back.